Hi, welcome to the lab session. Okay, this is the environment which we're going to work on today. Alright, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 VMs again. As the name goes, this is AD, this is for HyperVReplica. HyperVReplica server 1, server 2, Storage-replica server 1, server 2, and also Windows Admin Center. So for HyperVReplica 01, there's already a VM installed inside with HyperV role. Let's open this and see. Okay. Alright. So we use the domain password. Alright. There is a button down here for HyperV Manager. Alright. Now we have a server called Finance 01. Let's go into Finance 01. Yeah, it's running. So basically here, if this window is not open, just click the command prompt. As you can see, the wallpaper here is different. Okay, make sure that we are going into the right server, because this is a nested VM environment. You can treat this environment as a physical server itself. Alright, it's the same thing you do on physical server. Okay, so what we do is we ping pel.net, and then voila. So basically this server can communicate with my domain server. Alright, network wise it's all okay. It's running on server pel HyperV rep 01. So let's close this. Let's start configuring the HyperV replica. In order to configure HyperVReplica, go back here. Oh, sorry, not go back here. We close this. Alright, we go back here. Connect. Use the same domain admin password. Enter. Alright, here as you can see, if you go and search for HyperV, nothing comes out. It's not enabled. So let's enable HyperVReplica here. To enable HyperVReplica, we go to Server Manager. Alright, it's taking time to load. Add role and features. Next. Okay, this is the server under enable HyperVReplica on. Next, HyperV. Add features. Next, all the way next. So basically this is all default. Okay, install. I am going to restart automatically. You don't want to also can install. So this will take some time. This is real time. Okay, go back to the drawing just to show you. We are configuring this server. Okay, enable HyperV role. Then we're going to do is, what we are doing now is enable HyperV role. Next we're going to create switch name and setting as in pel HyperV 01. So we'll go into this server to see what is the switch name, and we create a new switch here with the same configuration, virtual switch. Alright, oh, it's already restarting. While this thing restarting, I'm going to go to the first server with the VM. Let's look at the switch. Okay, open HyperV Manager again. Okay, let's look at the switch manager. Alright, so we're going to create this switch again on second VM. Okay, I'm going to follow exactly the same name, and it's going to be connected to my external network and allow management operating system to check this network. So basically this one, I see Microsoft Hyper-V network is just because I'm using nested VM. If let's say you're on physical server, you actually will see Broadcom, Intel, or whatever network card you're using. Alright, so I just click, I leave it open first and go back to the seconds. Okay, still rebooting. Okay, domain admin password again. Okay, we are in. Let it load first. Okay, close this. Okay, just close this. Let's see, Hyper-V role is enabled. Yeah, it's there now. Great. So what I like to do is pin the taskbar. So I got the button down here. So I click on Hyper-V role. So as the next step is to create switch name, same name and setting as HyperV01. So we're creating a virtual switch. Okay, so we go to virtual switch manager. So we're going to do external, create virtual switch. Okay, the name I'm going to maintain the same is look at that, 172.168.1.0/24. okay, exactly same here. Alright, this thing. Okay, to Microsoft network adapter. Oops. Okay, make sure this is enabled. Apply. Okay, yes. So applying changes. So I minimize my first server. Okay, second server I've already created the switch. Okay, so looking at this set drawing, after this go back to this should be 01. Okay, it's not rep02, typo here. Let's change that in a while. So after that is Hyper-V and switch. After Hyper-V switch, enable HyperVReplica in Hyper-V Manager. Okay, so now we're going to do is we're going to enable HyperVReplica here and then enable HyperVReplica here as well. Alright, so let's go to server 1 again. I minimize this. Go to server 1. So we go here. This is server 2. Okay, this is server 1. Cancel. So right click. We're going to do is enable HyperVReplica, Hyper-V settings. Alright, so replication configuration, go here, click enable replication configuration. What we're going to use, because it's local network, we're going to use this Kerberos HTTP port. You can use even HTTPS, but for this you need to generate SSL and all that. For that is best used when you have different geolocation. But since this is the same geolocation, we're going to maintain 180. Allow, okay, for any authentication server. Okay, and we just apply. Okay, now we have done this on server 1. Oh yes, before that we need to enable this root. Just go to firewall. Let's go to firewall. let's look for this rule. Advanced setting, inbound. Okay, by default Windows Server only blocks inbound and allow all outbound connections unless it has been configured to block outbound as well. Then you have to create ports for outbound as well. Okay, so HyperVReplica HTTP listener TCP rule. Okay, HyperVReplica, just go to HyperVReplica there, HTTP listener TCP rule. I'm just going to enable this rule. Okay, the same thing we're going to do on server 2, and please OK. Okay, we have already enabled the feature of replication in server 1. Okay, let me just close the firewall, minimize the firewall here, close this and minimize this. So the same thing we're going to do on server 2. Let's go to server 2. Alright, so we have no VM here, as you can see. Once we do the failover, the VM will come here. So right click, HyperV settings, exactly same like the first one. We just enable, we use port 80 here again, allow, alright, and then we just apply. Okay, same here, firewall rule. Let's go to firewall rule, firewall. Okay, so I go to advanced setting again, inbound rules. Okay, let's go to HyperV HTTP listener. Okay, so if you're using HTTPS, you enable the HTTPS listener, but since we are using HTTP, I'm just going to enable HTTP only. Alright, so HTTPS, you need SSL, if not it won't work. So in this scenario, we're not going to use SSL. Okay, close. I'm just going to minimize. Alright. Okay. Okay, HyperV is enabled. Feature, HyperVReplica feature is enabled on both servers. So you go back to the drawing here. This server and this server both have HyperV and HyperVReplica already enabled. Now the next step would be enable replication for VM finance. Okay. So now we're going to enable replication on the VM itself. Alright, let's go do that. So we go to server 1 for that. Alright, server 1. Okay, so to do that, we right click finance server. Okay, enable replication. Okay, here we go. Next. Okay, it's going to ask for the destination server. So this is the destination server, PAL-rep02. So we must go by the hostname. Ignore the DRTR01. Hostname is only PAL-hyperV-rep02. So I'm going to do put. Either I can browse. Let's try browse and see. Advanced. Fine now. It's because in domain I can search for this one. The server. So I just make this longer and okay, this is my destination. I click OK. Okay, next. Alright, port 80, correct. I'm going to compress data so when I transfer it will be smaller. Don't take too much of bandwidth. Okay, so this is the disk that's going to be replicated over for the VM. So there will be a few settings here, 30 seconds, 5 minutes and 15 minutes. What I normally do is I maintain default 5 minutes. If you want 30 seconds, more frequent network usage but smaller file size. 15 minutes, less frequent network usage but bigger file size to replicate over. Depends on the amount of changes in the VM. I usually start in the middle, and if I need to tune, either go up or go down. Alright, next. You can have created additional recovery points 24 and all that and all that and all that, but what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to maintain the latest recovery point to make it easy, because we just want to move the VM over to second server. Alright, next. okay, you can do send initial copy through network. This is what you're going to do. If let's say currently now it's busy time, so the server is quite loaded with work. So what you can do is you can actually schedule on when to start the replication on. So for now we're going to start immediately. Okay, next, finish. Okay, it's enabling replication. Okay, if you go to status here, you'll see sending information, initial replica. So first time it is every time the longest, because first time it's sending the whole VM over. Alright, so it will take some time. Okay, so let's go to the second one. You can see the VM is already here on the second server. Okay, but it still don't do anything because it's still sending the initial replica. So it takes some time here. Bigger the VM, longer it's going to take the first time, and also depends on different geolocation, depends on network latency as well. Okay, we hit 25%. So basically, let's go back to the drawing again. So we have enabled. We are this part activating replication. We have already activated. So it's going to replicate the VM inside here to here for the first time. First time it's going to take longer because the whole VM content will be replicated over because there's nothing here. Alright, so it's sending the replication over. So we have already hit 37%. It's quite fast actually because this VM is quite small. Production side, it might vary on the size of the VM and also the network speed you have to do this. So that is why sometimes you have to schedule, you can schedule this, the first time replication to happen at this particular time when it's low in usage, network usage or server itself. Okay, we are almost at a half mark here. We are already at a half mark. Okay. Okay, 61%. Shrink this a bit. Shrink this a bit. So I can bring this forward. Alright, we are almost done here. Assign memory, so you don't need so much to see. It is 6. So once the initial replication is done, this is the longest, then the next replication would be has the changes happen. So it will be incremental. Whenever there's the bigger the changes in the VM itself, the bigger changes will be pushed forward. So it will be done every 5 minutes. Okay, we are almost there. Alright, so it's merging now. Okay, it's done. So this is the active side and this is the passive side. So now this active server is running. How do we failover? What we're going to do right now is plan failover. In order to do any kind of failover, you need to simulate a failure. Alright, especially plan failover. So what I'm going to do is right click this I'm going to shut down. I'm going to shut down from the host itself, shut down this particular VM. Alright, shut down. So it's going to shut down to simulate failure. Then I'll do planned failover. Good about planned failover is I can failover here, here will boot up, and then I can failover back easily without much complication. So right click, replication, plan failover, plan failover. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave all this as default. The reverse replication direction after failover also can be enabled, but I like to do this later if need to. Okay, in this scenario we're not going to use this for now. Okay, reverse replication I like to enable once it's failover, because sometimes I like the VM to run, test everything on the secondary side, everything works, then we do the reverse replication, which we can do on the second side later. Okay, we're just going to start automatically start the virtual machine. Okay, fail over. So now it's going to fail over to the secondary side. As you can see, here starting already. Okay, so now let's go into the server. I think it should be still booting. Yep, it's still booting. Okay, let's bring this in the forefront. Okay, we are here. Let's log in. Okay, this is not the domain password. This VM is not under domain. I get the password right. Looks like I got it right. Okay, we are back into the same VM. Okay, currently is running on rep02. Double click. So if I ping tel.net, voila, it goes through. Alright, so we have finally failed over, and let's look at our this one. So ping completes this session. Okay, so we have already pinged and we have completed HyperVReplica. Alright.